With us now for the latest on this situation in his province is Manitoba's Premier Wab Kinew. Premier, thank you so much for making time for the conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me back.
So yesterday was the declaration of a state of emergency province-wide. What can you share with Canadians watching tonight about the status of some of the more dangerous, out-of-control wildfires at the moment?
Well, it's been another tough day here in Manitoba, so we got to really thank the wildfire fighters on the front lines, as well as the RCMP and the healthcare people who are planning alongside the emergency management folks from the province. Here in Manitoba this afternoon, we've seen another wildfire start in the Split Lake to Tasqueyac area. At the same time, one of those fires, which led to the evacuation of Flin Flon, we believe this afternoon is going to be merging with a different wildfire that led to the evacuation of another community. So you can imagine that that will lead to a stronger, more intense blaze in that region. So the fact that we've had a Parks Canada firefighter injured here in the province, and we wish that person well, we thank them for their service, I think it just serves to underline how serious the situation is. And so when we look at the evacuation side of things, we had 17,000 people within a short window of time yesterday afternoon being told that they had to leave their homes. Biggest in recent memory, as you pointed out there. The first buses arrived in Winnipeg at about 3 a.m. last night. We were able, in a hockey rink here in town, thanks to the good work of the city of Winnipeg alongside provincial EMO officials, to house them there. And thousands of Manitobans across the province have been stepping up as well to offer shelter to their friends and family, which has really made a difference. And then the city of Thompson, First Nations like Opaskwayak, Nisitchawayasik, and Norway House, all stepping up to offer shelter as well. It really has been a joint, unified, Manitoba-wide response. And amidst the challenges, I do really want to thank folks for cooperating and working together in that way.
I'm sure you have been speaking, like many of us in the media have, to people who were evacuated from their homes. Lots of them very grateful for the situation you just laid out, all the assistance being provided by other communities, but of course, understandably, incredibly concerned about the potential for them losing their own homes or damage to their community. What can you share with us tonight about resources in fighting the fires and the level to which they're being deployed? Any concern about the need for more?
Yeah, we need all the help that we can get. And so I thank my colleagues from Alberta and British Columbia and New Brunswick and Nova Scotia who have helped with firefighters, Parks Canada, the federal government, Ontario, and the territories helping out with water bombers. We are going to need more help because as this fire season continues, our firefighters need to be able to catch their breath. They need to be able to debrief about some of the difficult things that they see. So we are going to continue putting that call out for more assistance when it comes to the human resources, when it comes to the tankers, the water bombers, the equipment side of things. But I do want to indicate that there's so much good work happening right now. And just to put kind of a human perspective on it, you know, there's leaders being put into some really tough decisions. I spoke to one mayor yesterday evening who was among the last in his community. I won't say which one out of respect for privacy, but one of the last in his community, and they made the decision to order the firefighters out. The fire was just too intense, and even if that meant potentially putting homes in harm's way, they decided to make the call to protect the lives of the firefighters and first responders. So again, my hats go off to leaders like that, to Manitobans from all walks of life who are being put into some really tough positions right now. But to see the support of the federal government, the Canadian Armed Forces, other provinces, to just cut through all the normal waits and periods of intervention that usually get in the way of a unified response or jurisdictional squabbles, to see that all fall by the wayside, I think has been a testament, not just to the severity, but also to the compassion that Manitobans are showing.
To pick up on that point, I know you mentioned yesterday you had spoken with the Prime Minister. We just heard earlier from the sort of newly assigned minister in charge of responding to emergencies. She spoke of 2 planes that were sent to in order to help out with the air evacuation of some more remote communities. Are there additional resources that you have asked for or that have been agreed to be deployed to Manitoba from the federal government, I should say?
Yeah, so to recap, we do have those two Hercules planes that are moving people out of northern communities like Puckatawagan and Pimichigamak. And just for your viewers to understand, this is not the typical deployment. And so there's a lot of logistics that go into place. You're talking about shorter runways. You're talking about having to contend with difficult conditions around smoke and tough weather. And so the CAF has been there with great support in terms of logistics, in terms of the Hercules aircraft, in terms of other aircraft, smaller planes that CAF is also using. And then Parks Canada, which is, of course, a federal branch, has been sending their firefighters. And so that partnership with the federal government has been very, very good. And we really thank them as well as the other provinces and territories who've been assisting a joint response, plus municipalities. Let's not forget that there's First Nations and municipal governments and municipal fire services stepping up to help the effort as well, too.
Is there anything you can share about the possibility of, you said earlier, like all the help we can get, right? And I mentioned off the top that there's this agency essentially for the country that figures out where resources are needed. And right now they've already assessed, you know, more than a month in advance of the last time they had to do so last year, that those resources countrywide are tapped out. And so international assistance may be required. Are there discussions that you can share with us about more stuff or more people that may be available?
Yeah, I think you know, two helicopters have been identified internationally. I believe they're Colombian, but being deployed from the U.S. That are going to be helping with our effort here. So, you know, CIFC, the agency that you're talking about, you know, they have that presence here in Manitoba. They're a great resource. And as we go through this and we turn to our neighbors, we turn to potentially international allies to ask for help, it really just underlines the intensity of the current wildfire situation. You know, I don't know if pray for rain is the right thing to say, but that's definitely the environment and the attitude that we're facing here in Manitoba. And earlier, when California had its situation with wildfires, we saw the tankers go down from Canada. We saw actually a firefighter from Winnipeg battling the blazes in a residential area down there. And so now that it's our time of need, we're very appreciative that folks are stepping up for us the same way that we do during their times of assistance.
Well, Premier, I'll leave it on that note. I don't know what the right term is, but we are praying or crossing our fingers, whatever you want to say, for rain. And we're thinking of everyone in your province and certainly hoping the best. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much. And thank you to everybody across Canada for your good support.